Your support makes this show possible. Please support the Playhouse and keep our doors open.
Welcome. We are all so excited that the administration has picked us for the Returning Back to School Mentorship Retreat, and we have all been selected as mentorship leaders.
It is an honor, a privilege, and a responsibility to be your team leaders. The well-being of all the students in the district are in our hands, and I know you'll all be excellent mentors.
I apologize for my fellow team leaders. Right now, it sounds more like they're giving a TED Talk than talking to a group of fellow students who are more prone to use words like killer, LOL, and dope.
Don't mind him. He likes to be contrary. It adds spice to the conversation.
Since most of us come from different schools, we don't know each other yet, but that will all change by the end of what promises to be an informative and very productive weekend.
As your team leaders, why don't we introduce ourselves first, and the rest of you guys can go after.
Since you've been jabbering at us for what seems like hours, but it's probably only been 5 minutes, why don't you let one of us go first? And then you can tell us who you are at the end.
You're Yolanda, right? That's a great idea, Yolanda. So go for it.
Not me. Let one of these other jokes go first. I'll go when I'm ready. And by the way, I don't think any of us have used the words killer or LOL or dope since we were in diapers. Don't let looks deceive you. And if your introduction is any example of what we're going to be doing in these past days, I don't think you'll get to know us or even want to know us. Seems to me that all you're going to be doing is throwing platitudes at us and giving us rules to follow, while us rolling our eyes thinking, why did we even agree to come here in the first place?
Thank you for that. And I think it's safe to say that you did just introduce yourself, intentionally or not. You're going to be the cynic, the contradictor, the person who always has to say the opposite of what everyone else says, even if she actually agrees. This is going to be fun. So who's next?
My name's Kira. I love clothes. I love romance. I love the whole idea of spring gardens with bright blooming flowers, and the autumn leaves rustling softly through the trees. But don't be fooled. I'm not your stereotype 1950s teenager. I'm definitely not always happy, but definitely not always angry. But I want to be happy, and I believe that being angry only hurts yourself. I want to help people by sharing my smile and what I have to say.
Hi, I'm Ernestine, and I love being different. When I was little, I remember my mom telling me, "You're unique, be proud of it." She told me that it's better to be the best version of yourself than a bad copy of someone else. So that's what I'm going to teach to anyone I mentor. Be yourself. Be simple or complicated, in the middle of the road or way out there on the edge. If you try to be like anyone else, you'll come out second best. So be yourself, and you'll always come out on top.
Oh boy, who am I? I'm the girl that never follows the rules. I pretend to, and everybody thinks I'm a little Miss Goody Two-Shoes. That's how I survive. I'm teacher's pet, I'm student council, and a president of the French club. Everybody loves me. But you want honesty? I'm never going to see any of you again, so why not? It feels good to get things off your chest every once in a while. So all of that other stuff is just a cover. I make faces at my parents behind their back. I bribe my sister into doing my chores. And you want honesty? It feels good. I have no remorse, no guilt, and I will definitely not suggest this behavior to the students that I mentor. My name's Pamela, but everybody calls me Sweetie.
I'm Oscar, and I think I'm the youngest person here. But believe me, I have lots of experience mentoring people. Unofficially, of course. I have 3 little sisters and 6 other kids next door. And they're constantly asking me my advice. I don't know why. Maybe because I'm older than they are. So maybe here, I'll be the one asking all of you for advice since you're all older than me. I'm definitely what they would call energetic.
So if I get a little bit too wild, I hereby give you permission to nicely ask me to calm down.
My name is Nicholas. My pen name is anonymous. I'm a poet. I find it easier to express myself in my writing than I do out loud. As a mentor, I guess I'll have to learn how to overcome that. I don't know what sort of kids will be asked to mentor, but maybe I could ask them to put their feelings into poetry or song. I get in touch with my feelings through the lines of a poem. It's just how when someone says, "Hey Nicholas, what's wrong?" I have difficulty saying what I think or feel out loud.
I'm Harriet, and I love to sing. If I didn't think people would laugh at me or diagnose me as having some weird condition, I would sing all the time. I would sing right now, putting music to every word I'd say. Hello, my name is Harriet, and I'm so happy to be here. See? I can tell by the looks on your faces that you think I'm weird. And I probably am. But I think there's a lot of people like me. People who love to sing, but are too afraid to show it. I sing in the choir, and I sing in musical theater. So I get my singing fixed that way. And if I get the chance to mentor anyone, I'll suggest that they sing any chance they get. My turn. I'm Richard, and at the risk of sounding like a jerk, I'm bummed that there's someone else who likes to express themselves using poetry. I thought I was the only one. But in my defense, I think my poetry is very different from anyone else's. And before you say anything, Yolanda, I know everyone says that, right? Isn't that what you're going to say? I don't have to express myself using poetry. I just want to. Not because it's easier for me to divulge my feelings, but because I can write a lot of harsh things and people think it's my dramatic side coming to the surface. Maybe it is. Who knows?
I'm Annie. I travel a lot, and I think that's part of the reason why I was selected as a team leader, because I've experienced different cultures and different traditions. I'm not bragging or anything, but it's eye-opening to experience worlds outside your own. It helps you put your life into perspective, or at least it forces you to realize there are so many other points of view and so many different ways of living, and none are better than the rest. They're just different. I think that will help me understand other people. I hope it will help me understand all of you.
I'm Addison, and I know you're all so excited to get started on this wonderful 2-day journey. So let me just say that I think I'm a positive person. I'm not bragging or pretending or shaming. I just love life. I love the world. I love my family. Maybe it's because I'm still 12. Maybe when I turn 13, I'll start to feel all that angst and anger. But it hasn't happened yet. Maybe that's why I was selected as a team leader, to act as a balance, an antidote. Whatever the reason, I'm happy to be here. Happy to meet all of you, and I'm optimistic that we'll get something out of this experience, even if it wasn't what we intended.
So, let's get started.
Some team leaders, you forgot someone.
It doesn't matter. Forget it.
Oh, what matters is weight to you. It says more about our team leaders than maybe you'll say about yourself. But still, it's your turn.
Fine, I'm Yvonne, and I'm still trying to get my head around why we were picked in the first place. We're supposed to be helping other kids. I don't know about the rest of you, but I feel more cracked and messed up than the kids we're supposed to help. There's a lot more to me, but to be honest, I don't feel like sharing my deepest, darkest secrets with a bunch of strangers. And yes, I know you all just introduced yourselves, but I don't think you really shared any more about who you really are than I'm going to share about myself.
Thank you for all of those introductions. We've been divided into triads.
We know, tri means 3, triad means group of 3. Do we get to pick our triad mates?
Sorry, they've already been chosen by the faculty, according to your various strengths,
Like they know us any better than you do.
and what they call your history.
Each triad will be assigned a particular issue or concern with which students are currently grappling. You will be given tasks, activities, and discussion points, and by the end of the weekend, it is hoped that we will all be better prepared to help the students at our various schools.
Even if nothing else comes of it, we can still enjoy a great free weekend at this very cool facility. I know it's usually used for weddings, but it could be worse.
Your triad lists will be posted at the bulletin board. Have fun. We'll meet back here at sundown. Enjoy!
I don't get how we're ever supposed to help. Will it be something official?
Will there be office hours or a sign saying, if you need help, go talk to Sweetie?
No one has given us any specific instructions.
Because the adults want us to come up with their own ideas.
The adults seem to think that because we are kids and we are better equipped to recognize other kids' problems.
And even if we understand what they're going through, even if we're going through the same things, what can we do about it?
We can help them not make the same mistakes. That could help.
Maybe we could think of something that happened to us and see how somebody else could have helped us. Someone we trusted. Someone we actually would have listened to.
How about you be the person with the problem, and I'll be the person who helps?
Taking the easy road.
Sure, I'd rather be the helper than the one with the problem. Besides, I don't have any problems to speak of. Nothing bad has ever happened to me.
I will.
Thanks.
Okay, here goes.
So I heard you were having some issues with trust
Yes.
and anger
Yep.
and betrayal.
Definitely.
Can you tell me how you came to feel all these very strong emotions? Was it something specific?
You bet it was. It was a girl at school. What she did.
Let's start by telling me how you feel about what happened. In your mind talk, what did you hear yourself saying?
How could she? How could I be so stupid? I was so embarrassed. Okay, so a little while ago, I met a girl named Roxy. I saw her around school every once in a while, but I never really talked to her. So when she asked me to sit with her at lunch, of course I said yes. I never turned down a good friend.
That's a good philosophy.
I used to think so. It was lunch, and I met her at the table where she always sits. We talked about school for a while when she said, "Hey, would you like to come over to my house?" I agreed. I was so excited. At her house, we played Truth or Dare. I picked Truth, and she asked me for my deepest, darkest secret. I barely have any secrets, so to me, this was big. I can't ride a bike, I told her. She told me it was okay and that she'd teach me.
That's nice.
I thought so too. Want to sit with me and my friends at lunch tomorrow? I asked her. She agreed. How cool! I'll bring a new friend to my group. The next day, when I went to sit with my friends at lunch, she was already there. She beat me to it. I started to sit down when all my other friends looked at me and started laughing. Roxy proudly announced that she had told them my secret. She wasn't ashamed. She was proud. I was so mad. At her, of course, but mostly at myself, for wanting a new friend so badly that I opened up without knowing anything about her. As they say, I'm sadder but wiser. I'm afraid of my takeaways that I'll never trust anyone again. But is that the person I want to be?
Hey, don't jump to conclusions. Secrets are precious things, so think before you share them. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You will make new friends that you can trust, but first you have to learn how to trust yourself.
Bravo, that was amazing. You knew just what to say. I'm sure you would have helped that girl. I mean, you would help anyone who wants to be your friend.
Yeah, you did a great job. I hope one day to be as eloquent and insightful as you.
So you try it. You'll be the helper, and Kira will be the person with the issue. You do have a little something you'd like to get off your chest, right?
A big something.
Don't be embarrassed. I'm a kid, just like you. To be honest, I am as confused and messed up as anybody else. Sometimes I forget even what the real world is like. Some things never change. Feelings, emotion, friendship, love.
Love. Where is it? The feeling of betrayal is like being bitten on. You feel so insecure and sad to think that someone you trusted had lied to you. How sad. How selfish. How cruel. What feel? What can I do to never relive this sadness again?
Tell me about it, and we'll work through it together.
How dare she? I loved my bestie. She was everything to me. I thought we'd be best friends till the end. Until right before I could stop her, she swooped in and took away the boy that I loved. She knew how much I loved him. She knew that it would break my heart, and she still did it. I will never forgive her to this day. She was my best friend, my soulmate, and now she is a traitor.
You're brave to share that with me. I don't think I've ever been in love like that, so I couldn't possibly know what you're going through. But maybe she feels as bad as you do. Maybe she wishes she hadn't betrayed her best friend. Boyfriends come and go, but best friends should last forever.
Thank you. You are very kind.
Fantastic! Brilliant! I'm so glad we came on this retreat. We're definitely going to make a difference.
It felt good to get off my chest. Maybe she couldn't help herself, you know. Maybe she loved him as much as I did.
It does feel good to talk about things. So now it's your turn to share, and Kira will be the helper, and you...
I wish I could, but I think I just heard the dinner bell, and we don't want to be late, so...
How'd they talk about the list of issues anyhow?
I think they surveyed
students at a bunch of schools. Multiple choice, please list the 5 things that bother you the most.
And they seriously think anger, betrayal, trust, self-identity, and expression?
That's what they say.
I think the biggest issue is self-identity.
Do you mean like how you feel about yourself?
That's part of it, but what I mean is your ego. Your lack of ego. How do you feel about what people do to you? How do you express yourself?
That's a lot of issues.
But it boils down to one, who you are.
So what are you going to do? Go back to your school and ask everyone how they feel about themselves?
Of course that's not one of them, but we do have to start somewhere.
You have 2 days to figure out something that'll help the kids at our school.
I'm guessing most of them don't want to.
But maybe they need it? Maybe they just need someone to talk to.
Forget that. Talking is the last thing you want. They'll gossip or rag onto the teachers or life in general, but they won't just come out and say what's bothering them. Deep down, I know I would want that.
But that's exactly what we're doing right now.
Yeah, but we're doing it objectively, talking about how we're going to help everyone. We've got the upper hand. We're not coming to anyone saying, I'm freaked out about the lockdown. I'm freaked out about coming back to school and masks and vaccinations and stepping back into the real world.
So what are we saying? We're saying they are freaked out about the lockdown. They are freaked out about coming back to school. They are freaked out about masks and vaccinations and stepping back into the real world. And I'm going to help them. How? Poetry. Yeah, poetry. That's what helps me. People think I'm weird or stuck up. But the truth is, I can't talk about what I'm feeling out loud.
Me too. I can talk about anything that has nothing to do with me. But if I really want to express myself, it's at home.
I don't really get poetry. I mean, it's just rhythm and rhyme. Ta-da, 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 ta-da. Even if I wanted to try it, I don't have the time.
It doesn't have
It doesn't have to be a meter.
It's just a different way of communicating.
Right, like I'll come up to someone and just spout a couplet and they'll know what I'm talking about. Possibly. Or maybe they won't have a clue and they'll be embarrassed and won't know what to do.
Poetry is less direct, more abstract.
So what's your plan? Go around talking poetry to the kids? They'll think your brain is on the skid. We wouldn't talk poetry to them. Maybe we'd have them write a poem of their own. Okay, you can start with me and we'll see. There, you did it again. Jeez, this is bizarre. I'm not a poet.
Yes, you are!
You're messing with my head. Rhyming words are not what I said. OMG, what have you done to me? This is outrageous. Your ideas are contagious. I'm shutting up. This is absurd. You can't make me say another word.
Great performance, but don't take it for a fool.
You know you're the president of the poetry club at your school.
That's why we want to get you in our group. You're the only person who knows the school.
Had you going there for a minute, and what you say has some truth in it.
So we're all going to start poetry clubs at our school, right?
You can teach us the basics tonight.
But I think that's poets are weird.
When I talked about poetry with my friends, they all disappeared. Poets can be popular. They don't have to be martyrs. Show me what you've got for starters.
I wrote this at the end of the lockdown. It seems to fit quite nicely with our themes. It's always something you can't control. It's something that can rarely be fixed. The is all high and mighty till one comes crashing down. Gone be gone, they all say, but you'll stay up there not wanting to move. As soon as you see the height, oh the height, so tall and yet so small. Once you fall, your bones break. And it lowers and lowers and lowers till it's as tiny as an ant and it's squished.
Cool. You'll be a great example to help the kids at your school express themselves obliquely. And you? It's called self-sabotage. I took all my feelings and pasted them into a poetic collage. Manipulating genes, cheating and growing your brains. It is bad for your health. You're doing it for the love. Manipulating people, making part-time friends, making future enemies. Try a lie again. I feel like I'm falling apart, not even performing the arts. No more distracting my feelings. I need to come clean on so many things. I feel so awful inside for manipulating people and being so snide. I really am starting to feel like a heel. So why don't we talk over midday meal? Yet I still want to manipulate. I tell myself, you must stop this before it's too late. Both self-sabotage and maddening, but I cannot stop. Oh, I am too eager for friends, there's no doubt. But the lack of friends still makes me want to shout. Kids, that's why self-sabotage is quite so bad. Manipulation can make you quite mad. This loneliness can make you very, very sad. The only thing you're missing out on is being that glad. Lies on top of lies, manipulating so many things. Lies on top of lies, no more friends when your cell phone rings. Poetry is what a lot of kids need right now. As they say, it's all in the timing.
And now, for the next few minutes,
Let's stop rhyming!
You mean to interfere?
No. Well, I guess so, but in a good way.
By definition, the word interfere has a negative connotation.
It looks as though everyone was getting along.
Yeah, they seem to like each other. They just don't like us. So as long as we don't interfere, everything will be just fine.
You like being contrary, right?
Everyone always says that. But I'm not. What I am is clever, quick-witted, with a touch of an inferiority complex covered by a thin shell of pseudo-arrogance.
I get it. You're a really nice guy. You're bright, intelligent, clever. You aren't mean or cynical or manipulative. You're just as confused as the rest of us. You cover it up more elegantly.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Boy, you sure manipulated me into complimenting you. Congratulations. Good job.
Thanks. One of the groups is really into poetry. I overheard them talking about starting poetry clubs at their school, having kids write poems about their issues, and then letting the administration allow them to do a poetry slam.
At least one group came up with a unique plan. If I had that at my school, I'd definitely join.
I'm a poet. I can start a poetry club at my school. Since I'm definitely an eccentric, I can gather up all the other eccentrics into the club to join. How's this? Manipulation. Example. Someone approaches. Could it be a friend? They tell me their problems, I wait for the end. I think of a phrase that will help me succeed and hope that their hubris will pay my words heed. I say what it is they want to hear, knowing that it will make them fear. They come in the next day, bearing gifts for the school, unaware that they have been played for a fool. Of course, my gift is the biggest one, 'cause I made them doubt. Oh, what fun.
Oh, it's too bad we actually like you or we'd never speak to you again.
I'd survive.
Of course you would, but it wouldn't be much fun without us.
Do you seriously think this retreat is going to do any good?
Well, we won't know that until tomorrow night.
Actually, we won't know until months from now, when everyone goes back to their schools and starts their new mentorship program.
Or maybe we won't know until years from now, when we see how Generation COVID turns out.
I had this great idea that I thought would help this weekend. I asked a bunch of kids at my school to write anonymous letters talking about their issues, asking questions, sort of like the Dear Abby column. And I was going to give one to each group and have them come up with an answer.
Why didn't you?
It all seemed so distant, so standoffish, so I told myself it was a dumb idea.
It's a great idea.
I do remember one.
Tell us, maybe we can come up with an answer.
Okay, so this girl said, "Ugh, they're my best friend. Why are they, though? They laughed when I tripped or got embarrassed and didn't care when I was being bullied. So why do I still care about them? Why should I have to suffer just so they can enjoy themselves? Ugh, I'm like their puppet. They pull my strings and I jump. And at the same time, I'm a newborn kitten, completely blind to the problem. I wish I were brave enough to tell them to stop, but I can't. They'd eat me alive if I tried. Yeah, they actually would. If I tell anyone, I'm a snitch. And if I don't do anything, well, we've already been over that. I wish I could wave a magic wand and this whole mess would be out of my life forever. I wish I hadn't said yes in the first grade when they asked me to play. Maybe a time machine. No, that's too much. What am I supposed to do?"
That is an awesome problem. I don't mean what's happening to the girl is awesome, but I mean, for our purposes, it's perfect.
We can think about it tonight, come up with an answer in the morning, and share our process with everyone else at the closing festivities.
I know you asked for anonymous letters, but do you know who she is?
Yeah.
Who?
Who do you think?
This is a great idea.
So much better than just talking to the kids.
People talk to them, or rather talk at them, all the time.
And this way, they can see our reenactment and judge for themselves.
When we perform it, we can't forget our basic themes.
Expression,
Ego.
Betrayal.
The truth is, expression is one of the most important things in a relationship.
when you say expression, do you mean the emotions that show up on people's faces, the way people express themselves, or just the idea of expressing?
I mean, all that. For an example, when my friend makes a mad face or uses an angry tone with me, I immediately know that she's mad at me. But when someone uses a happy face or uses an excited or happy tone with me, it's a good thing. It makes your whole body feel better. But if your face and your tone and your body is always sullen or frustrated or arrogant, no one will want to talk to you.
Tell me about it.
But if you smile and look into people's eyes and have a cheerful voice, they will talk to you.
So you want to be fake to people so you'll get more friends?
You know, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying what you put into the universe always comes back to you. If you're in a bad mood and someone says hello, you can brush them off, or you can put your bad mood aside and say hello back. Then that will make them feel better, and that will make you feel better. That's why expression is so important.
Got it. I'm glad we're doing this reenactment. Even if it's a reenactment of a very sad time in my life.
But it's the most dramatic story we've got. It'll definitely move people.
You have a flair for the dramatic, don't you?
That I do. Problem is, there's no one I can relate to. That's exactly why I do drama.
I'm confused.
You see, drama is all about expression. You fit yourself into a character and make it your own, because it's you. That's what we should do with this reenactment. And if it works, we can get some other kids to do it too.
Then let's get started. Once upon a time, in the 3rd grade, I had a friend. Was she really a friend? I'm not sure. At first, she went out of her way to be friendly to me. She hung out with me at school. We did our schoolwork together and helped each other in the classes we shared. After our annual test results came out, we had Parents' Day. At the parent-teacher conference, my father was in for a shock when the teacher told them,
Your daughter is a good student, but sadly she must have been struggling the entire year.
Struggling?
Definitely. But that Santa friend of hers helped her keep her Cantonese academic level very high at the expense of her own grades.
Is this true?
No, I can't believe what I'm hearing. She never helped me at all. We did our homework together. She passed me notes in class and started whispered conversations I almost never answered. That was it.
The young girl I'm talking about gave so much of her own time to your daughter that she barely had any time for her own projects.
You're blaming my daughter for this girl's failure?
Your daughter was continuously distracting their own class, passing notes, initiating conversations, causing her to lose focus and neglect her studies. Due to her drop in grades, we must put her on academic probation. But due to your daughter's behavior, we must put her on academic probation too.
Will you not let my daughter tell her side of the story?
What other side could there possibly be?
There is an expression, to throw someone under the bus. I never really understood it until this minute.
We will challenge this.
It will do you no good. Just be glad we're giving your daughter another chance. I suggest she find other friends and try to control her behavior so this doesn't happen again. Next time we won't be so lenient.
Teacher's pet. There's another expression I never understood. I understand it now. When you're teacher's pet, the teacher will always believe you, no matter what.
Sir, I heard that. Please tell your daughter to watch her mouth.
And yes, I did learn my lesson. I learned that betrayal is an evil-eyed monster, and that from now on, I will have to think much more carefully before I ever trust anyone again.
That certainly was dramatic.
It's what you wanted, right?
Sorta. Only, if we're going to use it as a learning tool, we should probably lighten up on the negative ending and try and find a way to help the young lady move forward with a more positive attitude. Just a thought.
So, here we are, and from what everyone's told me, we haven't accomplished much.
I know this was a tough challenge. I really thought we'd be up to it.
I was positive we'd be up to it. And actually, I still think we're up to it.
But our time has run out.
I know some of you had some vague ideas about things that could work, but nobody has come up with anything concrete.
What about my idea, Addison? The letters?
Forget it. They don't care.
Okay, the bus will be here at 5 o'clock to pick us all up. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to come up with a statement, or a policy, or a plan.
But this is a beautiful place, and we do have one more hour, so if nothing else, just enjoy the great outdoors.
Since we weren't able to fulfill our mission, our parents will probably have to end up paying this weekend. I'll come up with fundraising plans to help defray costs. It's only fair.
I'm gonna leave the letters here. Maybe one of you can find inspiration. You just never know.
The bus is almost here, and I just want to apologize to everyone for losing my temper earlier. I was so optimistic about this weekend, and I guess I set my sights too high.
We did have a good time in any case.
And I think we have a surprise for Addison and Richard, because we actually did come up with something. It all came to fruition in the last hour. Maybe deadlines are a good thing.
Those letters really were an inspiration.
We each took one and it sparked our imaginations.
We all love poetry, but we never realized it could be a tool to help other people.
So we're gonna start poetry clubs at school. Anyone can join. It doesn't have to be kids with problems.
Because you know what? Everyone has problems. Some bigger, some smaller. Some obvious, some very well hidden.
And poetry is a wonderful outlet to examine and explore those issues. And how I would answer one of those letters? I know how you're feeling right now. Listen to my voice and hear the tone when I tell you you are not alone. Things are hard, I read in your letter. Things are tough, but they will get better. Other kids feel just the same way. And to all of you, I say, that's okay.
I'd say, you can try and talk to me. You're worried about COVID. I get it. I see. Let's work on getting rid of that frown. Let's talk a bit. I'll calm you down.
Coming out of your small hole, back into the light. It is hard, so very hard, so try with all your might. Become stronger than before and don't give up the fight.
You guys, you make me ashamed that I ever felt that we couldn't do this. That was beautiful.
I think we all learned something. I know that I learned that it's always better to talk things out than just holding them in and letting them fester.
So true. Friendship is built on trust and sharing. Friends can really help you when you're down. I totally understand how everyone feels after being isolated for a year and a half. I know what they're going through. I'm going to find those people who are frustrated and sad, and I'll tell them, don't stress, don't worry. Just talk to anyone you like. You might even become besties in a week. You got this. I feel you.
I would tell them to just be themselves and that things will go back to normal soon. I'm not saying that everything will go back to normal. I will say that soon there will be a new normal and it'll feel right and everything will be okay.
They should share their feelings. It may sound cheesy, but talking about things out loud can make a huge difference.
It may sound ironic coming from me, the person who never talks about feelings at all, but I think I learned something this week. Finding someone you can trust and letting them know how you really feel and who you really are can help you find your way.
I think I'd better start taking notes. You all have such great ideas. We should write them all down. We don't want to lose a single morsel of creativity.
Stay true to yourself. Never adjust your personality traits to anyone you meet or know. Ask yourself who you want to be and what you want to accomplish as yourself. Don't try to mend it to anyone's expectations. Be yourself and no one else. Find something for you to be confident and excel in. Just one activity, then sincerely and strong, leaves so many opportunities to build off new friendships with new experiences. Don't pressure yourself to be a leader if that's not what you want. Just strive not to be a follower, and you will arrive at a happy medium.
I know I'm only 10 years old and I'm always asking people for help. But I've been asked for help many times. I have been asked for help with homework, babysitting, life advice, but never for getting people back into the real world. If I had to say one thing to someone, it would be, the world is like a giant pool. Do you want to huddle outside, dip your toe, afraid of the water? Or do you want to take the plunge and dive right in?
We talked about our own problems, and we did a reenactment. We thought it would be easier to share our feelings that way.
And that's what we're going to do when we get back to our schools. It could even be a part of drama club.
We don't call it psychodrama. It's just a place where people can share their feelings, their worries, their good stuff too.
It's safe because they're not talking about themselves. They're talking about other ways other people might solve problems.
And actually, instead of telling them, you've got a problem and I'm here to solve it, how about if we ask them to help solve other people's problems?
After all, that is how we came up with this idea in the first place. We read some of the letters that Annie brought, and then we said, hey, this could be a play.
We enlisted Annie's help to create an example of what we mean. We can videotape it and show it to the kids at our school so they can see what we're trying to accomplish. Annie, Yvette, take it away.
We've all been thrown into a social crisis.
How to act, how to feel.
You could talk about video games,
No, that's not right.
things you like.
Can you ride a bike?
Some people have no trouble making a friend.
Some people just want this to end, to go back.
Back to a normal sense. See their friends.
The ones that haven't moved away.
Let's wake up from this horrible dream.
Sometimes things aren't how they seem.
What I mean is, waking up from this social crisis, making new friends.
Still talking to the old ones on FaceTime and Zoom. It can feel like you're in the same room.
Talking to teachers, finding out you like certain things you didn't know because throughout the social crisis,
Shh, don't tell anybody.
all you did was play video games.
Just isolated in your room with your camera off.
In this social crisis, maybe everything can turn out fine.
I don't know what to say. I'm so proud of all of you. Believe me, I know how hard it is. The first week I went back was terrible. I couldn't find my classes or my friends. But sooner or later, I got into the swing of things. I'm gonna write letters to all of the kids and say, just think of going back as your first day of school. You'll be confused and lost, but sooner or later, you'll get into the swing of things. And if you are doubting yourself, just remember that this is completely normal.
Here are my notes, gleaned from all you've just said, along with a suggestion of my own. Don't wait for other people's judgments. Get to know people outside of you. Find your tribe. That's people you can trust. You don't always have to be right, and people can change. Sometimes that's a good thing.
What I learned this weekend is that the problems these kids face, the problems all of us face, are the same as always. Friends, betrayal, gossip, lying, popularity, romance, nothing has changed.
It was like someone pushed the pause button on the world, but now that someone has pushed play again, everything that bothered people before just bothers them again, even more so because of the isolation and frustration caused by the lockdown.
What I've learned is that helping others is the best way to help yourself.
And I learned that although we all have our good days and our bad days, we always have something to feel good about, something to cherish. I appreciate my family more now. I hardly ever saw them before. I was in school, my dad was at work, my mom was at work, and my sister goes to a different school. We were lucky if we saw each other 5 minutes in the morning. During the lockdown, I really got to know my parents. And now I know them as people, not just parental units. Now it's time that we step back into the real world, with hope in our hearts and optimism in our smiles, and take everything we've learned from this past year and a half and apply it to our lives. And that way, we can get the best of both worlds.
Friends forever, forever friends. We used to say hello, it's such a simple phrase. We don't talk anymore, those were the days. Same doors, same clothes, same doors, so close, same pace, same loves, same skates. Always agree to disagree, sharing the world to this degree. Peace in the heart wins to the end. Sometimes pretend so we'll have and be the perfect friend. We never say hello, you don't return my gaze. We don't smile anymore, those were the days. Best friends, same loves, same love, same nose, so close, same taste, same clothes, same waist. Jealous a little but always suppressed, whispering secrets we've already guessed. Follow my lead, who's going to bend? Sometimes pretend so we'll have and be the perfect friend. We still could say hello, perhaps in different ways. We don't cry anymore, those were the days. Best friends, same walls, same fears, same goals, so close, same constitution, same innovation, different solution.
Your eyes through the window, disdainful, afraid. I've never been certain what signal they made. I looked through the curtain, your gaze held me fast. I knew this first friendship would also be my last.
To see you and free you
you, I battered the glass. I'd save you, release you, it would come to pass. But the moment it shattered, the spell was laid bare. When I blinked and looked up and you were no longer there.
Now someone's replaced that defensive pane with one-way glass, and if you remain to look at me, I can't see through.
So I sit by my window, confused by the view. Made vague by the curtain, I'm no longer certain that face with its promise of lifelong perfection, that hope of a friend was just my reflection.
Run short of hellos, although the longing stays. No surprise anymore, just goodbyes anymore. To what were once those days.
Wow, it's been a ride. When I first started here, I was going through some stuff, and this place it's just helped me, and I'd like to thank everyone at the Playhouse, the ensemble, the instructors, everybody for helping me along my journey as an actor, and I've learned a lot.
I'd like to thank all the ensembles that I've been a part of for giving me the experience to act and to be able to connect with them and connect with the universes that I've been a part of for, I guess, more than 20 shows now. I'd like to thank my parents for day in and day out driving me out here even when we were busy with taekwondo, with school, with a bunch of other extracurriculars, because of course I'm always ambitious, so I'm always doing something. But they always, San Monica Playhouse was my rock, no matter what, and it always felt nice to have a constant during the turmoil of ambitious things that I've done throughout my 10 years of being here. I'd like to thank Evelyn and Chris for always being there for me, even when I was a young little early stager who didn't know what I was doing but had too much energy for their own good. And to now being able to assist in classes and being able to pass on how amazing theater and public speaking and just connecting with an ensemble is. So thank you.